Coach, what difference have you seen in the Sixers from the last time you played them? I know Tobias was here, but they've got a few more games under your belt.
Yeah, I think they're going to get more comfortable playing together. They've got a lot of guys that can do a lot of things. I mean, how many times do you play against a starting five where everybody's averaging 18 or more? So, it's an excellent group. They're hard to play against, and, you got to be really, really on your toes on both ends of the floor.
Kyrie said he anticipates missing a couple games the rest of the way. Do you have him on a similar plan as Al?
I haven't talked to him as much about it, but that would be in line with what we would have been thinking up to this point as well. So, it's a fine line because of kind of where we are and positioning and everything else. But at the same time, I think playing well and health, if you can be doing both going into the playoffs, that's a pretty good thing.
Right, at what point do you look at seeding? What point do you look at health? At what point do you just say, forget where we at? Or as long as we're playing good basketball, we'll just accept where we are.
Yeah, I think this is the bottom line. No matter if we choose to rest Al in a game or Kyrie, in a game, then we have other guys and we should be able to step in and play well. And we're approaching that with it's a great opportunity for those other guys too. I mean, we need everybody playing good when we go into that. And ultimately, that's part of it. We've done that at times all year anyways. But it is, the seeding thing certainly comes into play because you're fighting for at least, potentially home court in the first round. But we've dug ourselves out of the opportunities past that if we're fortunate enough to advance. So I think ultimately, it's more important on how we're playing.
Coach, did they look more organized last night, even though Joel missed the game, in terms of the way they run their stuff or having their roles?
Well, I think last night was probably tough because I think that, although you stick Amir in there and Amir knows what to do and he always does it really hard and well, and they play Bolden a little bit more, they play Boban some, and then they play with that lineup with Simmons at the 5 some, and that's unique too. So they've been doing that all year. I mean, Joel plays in his spurts and his stints, and then they mix it up. They've done that against us as well each of the last couple of years, and they do a good job of it. But they just look more comfortable within the whole group. But you can tell there's a lot more action for Jimmy and Tobias than maybe even a month and a half or 2 months ago, and credit them because they've really figured out how to make that all work. That's a heck of a group.
Butler at the point with that.
Butler plays at the top of the key some, usually off of a cut, so he has with a live dribble. They do some interesting wrinkles that we played against in the past with some other teams where he comes from the block and gets a handoff, and then or he plays off of a middle pick and roll again with that live dribble. It makes it really tough. Draws fouls, and he can make shots, and he can get downhill on you. He's a hard guy to play against.
Coach, we've heard over the years defense wins championships, but scoring's way up in the league. For the Celtics to get to where they want to go, is it still about defense, do you think, and does defense still win championships?
I think ultimately if you can't get stops when you need to get stops, you won't live very long in the playoffs. I just think that and it's hard because the offenses are so good. I think with the offenses being what they are, you have to be able to manage runs. When the other team is really going, you can't be a 10-0 run or a 14-0 run. It's got to be 10-4. It's got to be 8-6. You got to be able to manage that. But there's going to be times where the other offense is really tough to stop just because of the individual talent. This is a great example tonight. And then, but on the other end, if you can't really dig deep and get stops and have some versatility to you defensively, you probably can't last long. And we need to show ourselves better in that regard. I still can't believe where we're ranked. That's not what my eyes tell me. I don't think we're as good of a defense as our ranking, and so it's something that we really need to improve in the next month.
Terry